A new powerhouse is on the global stage. The global economy is in a state of flux. Traditional power structures are being challenged. A new bloc of nations is emerging, appears poised to reshape the global order. This bloc is known as BRICS, representing Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Once viewed as simply a group of fast-growing economies, BRICS has transformed into a powerful force. They want a seat at the table and seek to make an impact on the global dynamic. The rise of BRICS. The term BRIC was first coined in 2001 by Goldman Sachs economist Jim O'Neill. His report highlighted the growth potential of Brazil, Russia, India, and China. South Africa joined the group in 2010, formally creating BRICS. Today, BRICS represents a significant portion of the world's population and economic output. The combined GDP of its members rivals that of the United States. The journey of BRICS has not been without its challenges. The rise of emerging economies. The rise of BRICS is a testament to a larger trend, the growing influence of emerging markets. Developing nations are experiencing rapid economic growth, propelling them onto the world stage. This shift in economic power is leading to a more multipolar world. These nations possessed a unique combination of factors for compelling economic growth. Influence is becoming more diffuse, with multiple centers of power emerging. Initially, BRIC was a purely economic concept, but BRICS nations are key players in the dynamics of world power. In 2009, they held their first summit in Russia, marking the transition to a more concrete alliance. This gathering signified their intent to play a more active role in shaping the global order. They argue that the current system no longer reflects the realities of the 21st century global economy. BRICS' growing economic might. The BRIC nations wasted no time in translating their potential into tangible economic power. Their economies grew at a blistering pace, outstripping those of developed nations. Investment poured in, fueling infrastructure development and technological advancement. In 2010, South Africa joined the group, making BRICS a truly global alliance. BRICS nations accounted for a growing share of global GDP, trade, and foreign investment. Their influence on commodity markets increased significantly. The world was witnessing a seismic shift in economic power. The deeper impact of BRICS. The significance of BRICS extends far beyond mere economic statistics. It represents a fundamental shift in global power dynamics. BRICS nations advocate for a more multipolar world where power is more evenly distributed. They call for reforms in international institutions to reflect the changing realities of the 21st century. BRICS provides a platform for developing countries to coordinate their positions on global issues. The group is actively seeking to reduce its reliance on the US dollar. These efforts could reshape the global financial system as we know it. The shifting sands of global power. The 21st century has witnessed a profound transformation in the global balance of power. Emerging economies, led by BRICS nations, are ascendant. The rapid economic growth of BRICS nations has shifted the center of gravity in the global economy. These nations now account for a significant share of global GDP, trade, and investment. The rise of BRICS coincides with a period of relative decline for the West. Globalization and technological advancements have empowered developing nations. This convergence of factors is reshaping the global landscape. Architects of a multipolar world. BRICS nations are not passive bystanders in this shifting global order. They are actively shaping it, using their growing economic and political clout to advocate for a more multipolar world. Central to their vision is the reform of global institutions. BRICS nations demand greater representation and voting power in these institutions. They seek to ensure that the voices of developing nations are heard. The new development bank, established by BRICS in 2015, provides an alternative to Western-dominated financial institutions. Collaboration and reform. The rise of BRICS presents an opportunity to build a new, more equitable global economic order. BRICS nations are championing a vision of global economic governance based on collaboration, fairness, and shared prosperity. They advocate for a rules-based trading system that is open, transparent, and non-discriminatory. BRICS nations are also working to reduce their reliance on the US dollar. These efforts could diminish the dominance of the US dollar and reshape the global financial system. Challenging the dollar's hegemony? For decades, the US dollar has reigned supreme as the world's primary reserve currency. However, the rise of BRICS is seeking to challenge this long-standing hegemony. BRICS nations are increasingly vocal in their criticism of the dollar-centric system. They argue that it gives the United States an unfair advantage. Proponents argue that the 2008 financial crisis exposed the vulnerabilities of a dollar-dependent system. Such dissatisfaction has fueled a movement towards de-dollarization. A new currency for a new era? The BRICS proposal. One of the most ambitious initiatives undertaken by BRICS is the exploration of a new international reserve currency. Proponents argue that it would create a more stable and equitable global financial order. They envision a currency backed by a basket of BRICS currencies. Such a currency would be less susceptible to the fluctuations of any single national economy. It would also reduce the dependence of BRICS nations on the US dollar. The creation of a BRICS currency could mark a tectonic shift in the global financial order. Time will tell. Reducing dependency and risk. The push for de-dollarization within BRICS is driven by a desire to reduce dependency on the US dollar. One primary concern is the exposure to US economic policies. Fluctuations in US interest rates and exchange rates can impact emerging economies. BRICS nations are wary of the use of the dollar as a tool of economic statecraft. De-dollarization is seen as a way to enhance economic sovereignty. By promoting the use of local currencies, BRICS aims to create a more resilient financial system. Obstacles and uncertainties. While the desire for de-dollarization is apparent, numerous obstacles lie ahead. One significant hurdle is the lack of a deep financial market within BRICS nations. Internal political and economic differences within BRICS could hinder progress. Building consensus on complex financial matters will require deft diplomacy. Resistance from established powers, particularly the United States, is inevitable. The US clearly has a vested interest in maintaining the dollar's dominance. Reshaping the global landscape. The BRICS bloc is on the cusp of a significant transformation. BRICS is actively seeking to expand its membership. This expansion represents a strategic move to amplify its influence on the global stage. By welcoming new members, BRICS aims to broaden its economic and geopolitical reach. Nations from various regions have expressed interest in joining BRICS. This potential expansion has raised anxieties about a shift in power dynamics. The geopolitical implications of an expanded BRICS. The expansion of BRICS carries profound geopolitical implications. A larger, more diverse bloc could reshape alliances and alter trade patterns. BRICS nations have long advocated for reforms in international institutions. An expanded BRICS could have a more significant say in shaping global rules. This could lead to a more multipolar world. Developing nations could find common ground within BRICS. The growing allure of BRICS membership. The growing queue of countries seeking to join BRICS underscores the bloc's increasing allure. For many developing nations, BRICS membership offers access to a vast network of trade and investment partners. Intra-BRICS trade has been growing steadily. BRICS nations are promoting alternative financial institutions. Membership could provide access to these alternative sources of financing. Aligning with BRICS offers developing nations a seat at the table with influential players. The path to a cohesive and effective bloc. The expansion of BRICS holds immense potential but presents significant challenges. Integrating new members, managing differences, and maintaining unity are crucial. Ensuring an inclusive and transparent expansion process is key. Clear membership criteria based on shared values are essential. BRICS and the future of global commerce. BRICS is reshaping global trade. Emerging economies are forging new partnerships and challenging traditional routes. Intra-BRICS trade is surging with bilateral agreements and streamlined customs. This strengthens their collective bargaining power globally. Emphasis on South-South cooperation fosters trade with developing nations. This shift reduces reliance on Western markets. Building a new financial architecture. BRICS seeks greater financial autonomy, which means needing to build a new financial architecture to facilitate this. Promoting local currencies in trade and exploring alternative payment mechanisms. Mitigating risks of a dollar-centric system and US economic policy fluctuations. Taking steps to build a new financial architecture. The rise of BRICS payment systems. BRICS nations are developing their own payment systems, challenging the dominance of SWIFT. Russia's SPFS and China's CIPs allow cross-border transactions in local currencies. This reduces costs, speeds up settlements, and insulates from any Western intervention. These systems have gained traction amid geopolitical tensions and sanctions. As they mature, they could rival SWIFT's dominance and reshape cross-border payments. For BRICS businesses, these systems offer a more efficient and more desirable way to transact internationally. A new paradigm in the making, the uncertain future of global finance. BRICS efforts to promote local currencies, explore new reserve currency options, and develop alternative payment systems challenge the existing global financial order. While the dollar's dominance remains, the seeds of change have been sown. The future of global finance remains uncertain. The rise of BRICS represents a force in global finance is gaining attention. BRICS and the infrastructure imperative. Across the sprawling landscapes of BRICS nations, a new era of infrastructure development is underway. From high-speed rail networks connecting bustling megacities to sprawling ports facilitating global trade, these emerging economies are investing heavily in the foundations of future growth. This infrastructure boom is driven by necessity. Rapid economic expansion has strained existing infrastructure, creating bottlenecks that hinder further growth. To sustain their economic momentum and improve living standards, BRICS nations recognize the urgent need for modern, efficient infrastructure. The scale of these infrastructure investments is staggering. China, with its Belt and Road Initiative, is leading the charge, financing and constructing roads, railways, ports, and energy projects across Asia, Africa, and beyond. India is investing heavily in renewable energy, urban transportation, and digital infrastructure. These projects are not merely about bricks and mortar, they represent a strategic vision. By investing in infrastructure, BRICS nations are not only addressing immediate needs but also aiming to lay the groundwork for long-term economic competitiveness, regional integration, and global connectivity. BRICS and the global energy landscape. The BRICS nations are major players in the global energy market, accounting for a significant share of global energy production and consumption. As these economies continue to grow, their demand for energy will only intensify, with profound implications for global energy security and the transition to a low-carbon future. One of the most striking trends is the growing thirst for energy in China and India. These two Asian giants, with their massive populations and expanding economies, are driving a surge in global energy demand, particularly for fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. This reliance on fossil fuels poses significant challenges. BRICS nations face mounting pressure to reduce their carbon emissions and transition to cleaner energy sources to combat climate change and improve air quality in their rapidly growing cities. Recognizing these challenges, BRICS nations are increasingly investing in renewable energy sources, such as solar, wind, and hydropower. China, in particular, has emerged as a global leader in renewable energy technology and deployment. BRICS in the race for technological supremacy. Gone are the days when technological innovation was the exclusive domain of the West. BRICS nations are rapidly closing the gap, investing heavily in research and development, fostering homegrown tech giants, and emerging as major players in fields like artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and renewable energy. This technological leapfrogging is driven by a combination of factors. Access to affordable talent, vast domestic markets for testing new technologies, and government support for innovation have created fertile ground for technological advancement. China's rise as a technological powerhouse is perhaps the most striking example. Chinese tech companies like Huawei, Alibaba, and Tencent are now global players, competing head-to-head with their Western counterparts. India, too, has emerged as a hub for software development and IT outsourcing. This shift in the global innovation landscape has profound implications. It challenges the traditional north-south flow of technology, empowers developing nations to find solutions to their unique challenges, and creates a more competitive and dynamic global marketplace for ideas. The BRICS quest for technological independence. BRICS nations are not content with merely catching up. They aim for technological independence, reducing reliance on Western technologies. This ambition is driven by economic and geopolitical considerations. Over-reliance on Western tech creates vulnerabilities for BRICS countries. BRICS invest in R&D, fostering academia-industry collaboration. They promote indigenous innovation and support startups. Success could reshape global power, leading a new technological revolution. A new dawn for the global economy. The rise of BRICS represents a pivotal moment in the global economic landscape. What began as a catchy acronym coined by an economist has evolved into a powerful force reshaping the global order. The combined economic might of these emerging giants, their pursuit of de-dollarization, and their expanding global influence signal a potential turning point in economic history. The BRICS nations are no longer content with a passive role in a system designed by others. They are actively shaping a new economic reality, one where power is more evenly distributed, and developing nations have a greater say in setting the rules of the game. This shift has profound implications for businesses, investors, and policymakers worldwide. The BRICS story is one of ambition, opportunity, and uncertainty. It is a story that challenges conventional wisdom and forces us to rethink long-held assumptions about the global balance of power. As these emerging economies continue to rise, their actions will shape the contours of the 21st century global economy. Risks and opportunities for investors. For investors, the rise of BRICS presents both tantalizing opportunities and unique challenges, so always do your research. The rapid economic growth of these nations, their burgeoning middle classes, and their insatiable demand for infrastructure, energy, and technology create fertile ground for investment. However, navigating these markets requires a nuanced understanding of the political and economic landscape. Emerging markets often come with higher risks, including regulatory uncertainty, corruption, and political instability. Investors must carefully assess these risks, diversify their portfolios, and adopt a long-term perspective. The push for de-dollarization and the creation of alternative financial systems within BRICS adds another layer of complexity. Investors must closely monitor these developments, assess their potential impact on currency markets and trade flows, and adjust their investment strategies accordingly. The BRICS story is a reminder that the global investment landscape is not static. Those who stay informed, adapt to change, and embrace a global perspective will be best positioned to navigate this evolving terrain. Implications for the global order. The rise of BRICS is reshaping the geopolitical landscape. They are asserting their influence, challenging the existing global order. This shift has profound implications for international relations and global governance. The traditional dominance of Western institutions is being challenged. This transition to a more multipolar world will not be without its challenges. Competition for resources and geopolitical rivalries could create friction. However, it also presents an opportunity for greater cooperation. The future unfolds, a new chapter in global economic history. The BRICS story is far from plateauing. The rise of BRICS challenges us to rethink our assumptions about economic power and global governance. It compels us to engage with a world where new players are emerging on the global stage. The BRICS story is one of change, ambition, and progress. Will it continue to shape the global economy in the decades to come? Let's wait and see.